Hare Krishna, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Now, I would request all of you that you forget that I am in a body of man, and you also all forget whether you are in body of man or a body of woman. Because otherwise, the more we connect ourselves with body, then what happens? We become bodily conscious. And when we become bodily conscious, then anything spoken for the man, men will be happy, and against the woman, women will be unhappy. And if we speak anything against the men, men will be unhappy, and if we speak anything for the woman, women will be happy. And this happiness and misery is temporary. It's all mental speculation. So when we are reading Bhagavatam, we should try to understand Bhagavatam is at the platform of soul. Now, I'm at platform of body, I understand. But at least when I'm reading, I'm hearing the Bhagavatam, I should know it is not for the body. This process is to purify the contaminated consciousness. So that is how it is important. So, and please forgive me, even after understanding that we should not be on the bodily consciousness, we tend to be. So I beg forgiveness, because I'll be repeating what is being spoken by Narad Muni here and being spoken at other places by Prabhupada and other acharyas. Then we'll try to see what is practical in today's life. So I'll read the translation. Very interesting. Srila Narad Muni, he says, "My dear king," he's telling to Prachini Bharisha. So Narad Muni is telling the entire story. This is the only allegorical story in entire Bhagavatam, which is to explain King Prachini Bharisha about how he should be detached, how he should live this miserable life. And then practice bhakti so that he can go back to Godhead and not get stuck in this material world. My dear king, after bewildering her husband, so Puranjani, the wife of King Puranjan, bewildered her husband. How did she do that? Similar fashion like Kaikeyi bewildered Maharaj Dasharath. This is called Man Leela. So Kaikeyi also went in the room and she was lying down on the floor without proper jewelry, proper clothes, wearing the old clothes like a maid. And similarly here, so that means this was the fashion. Now some things we don't take directly from the scriptures. If in today's modern world, I don't know what will happen, I'm just assuming, if wife goes to in one room, husband comes from office looking for wife and wife is in one room and something like this. Because in Vedic culture it is said that when a husband comes home, a wife should be ready, should decorate herself. Because wife's duty to decorate herself is only for the pleasure of husband. There's a duty. Now your man, your woman, scriptures are not talking about based on your consciousness. Scriptures are scriptures. If you read when Vritrasura's, before Vritrasura appearance, the demigods took away, or even Bali Maharaj, when Bali Maharaj took away all the kingdom of Indra and Indra has to flee from there, Mother Aditi was devastated. And she didn't decorate the house. She knew that Kashyapa is coming, but she didn't decorate the house. She didn't decorate herself. And Kashyapa asked, what happened? So that means it is a duty of a wife. It is a duty of wife whether someone may agree or not agree. Like when we preach, we tell it's a duty of a human being to become Krishna conscious. If you accept it, good for you. If you don't accept it, then you have to have the result. Otherwise, we will get into the category of Ardhukukut Nyaya. I like the back portion of the hen because it gives golden eggs. And the front portion I don't like because it takes a lot of food from that. So it's a duty of wife to decorate. So many cases. Kamsa's mother, Padmavati, she went to her father's house and she decorated herself beautifully. And that's why she was exploited by a demon named Gobi. Otherwise, how come Ugrasen Maharaj has a son like Kamsa? So that demon Gobi actually impregnated Queen Padmavati. That's how Kansa was born. And then she was chastising the demon that you came in the form of my husband. You changed your form. And he chastised that you are not a chaste lady because you have decorated yourself with jewelries and all other ointment when your husband is not here. You shouldn't have done that. So it's a duty of wife to decorate herself for the pleasure of husband so that the husband becomes happy. It's a duty to take care of house very nicely because when husband comes, he should see everything very pleasing. Now, modern women will never accept that. And this is the only reason divorces are happening. All over the world, the reason of divorce is this. If someone will follow whether men or women both, if both will follow the duties given in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many incidents. You see, even Kardam Muni and Mother Devahuti, how husband-wife relation. There are many places where husband-wife relation. Kashyap Aditi, twice it comes. Kashyap and Aditi, Sita and Ram, Kaikai and Dashrath Maharaj, Rukmini and Krishna, Satyabhama and Krishna, Draupadi and Pandavas. Many places you read this comes. How a man, how a husband, and how a wife should behave. They should know their duty. If they follow, there is no question of divorce. So, what she did, after bewildering her husband, she didn't decorate herself. So that's how the husband was not very happy. It was discussed in previous chapter. And bringing him, a very interesting point, Narad Muni says, bringing him under her control. So wife is bringing husband under her control. So who's the controller? I think there's a big question today. In modern world, it has become chaotic. It has become all chaos. Then he says, The wife of King Puranjan gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed sex life with him. Interesting. It's like it is appearing contradictory statements. Wife brought husband under her control. And then she gave the pleasure to husband. Now, giving the pleasure means serving. It's like service attitude. So, wife has served the husband and brought husband under her control. Any woman, any wife, if she understands this principle, she will never be, there is a material world, there will be miseries, but that family will be very nice, intact. If only from Bhagavatam one can understand how. And trust me, and I told you already, don't consider me someone in the body of man and yourself also man or woman. Trust me, the initiative, the first step has to be taken by a wife, not husband. Don't expect. Husbands are not good at it. How Krishna has made the male body different from female body, he has also made the psychological, the behavioral aspect different in male and female. Krishna has made the difference. If there is no difference, then it's not good. It will all be same. So then, Krishna has made men are basically supposed to be detached. And if a male-bodied person is not detached, he will be in misery. He will be in misery. And females, or a female body soul, is attached. And if she is not attached, she will be in misery. And that is why in the Vedic culture, Gurukula was for men, was for boys, not for girls. Boys were trained to be detached from family life, and girls are trained to be attached to family life. You see the difference. Boys can take, men can take sannyas, women cannot take sannyas. If you are at bodily consciousness, you will get agitated by hearing these statements. If you are not, you will not be agitated. One disciple came to Prabhupada and she said, Prabhupada, you said that women are less intelligent. Prabhupada said, yes, I said it. So she was little unhappy. Prabhupada, so am I also less intelligent? Prabhupada said, if you think you are a woman, you are less intelligent. If I think I'm a man, I'm less intelligent. Doesn't make a difference. We are identifying ourselves with the body, so we are less intelligent anyways. So then, men are trained in detachment, and women are trained in chastity. Detachment also and brahmacharya. Now, whether becomes a brahmachari and then takes sannyas, or he, gets married. If he's trained as a good brahmachari, he'll be a good householder. And woman was trained to be attached to parents, and then that attachment is transferred to husband, and then that attachment is transferred to children, sons. That's how it has been made. Women always controlled men, always. But they have the capability of putting an illusion in front of the men that Swami, you are my controller. Actually, she is the controller. If you go in Satyuga, you will see the same case. Woman is controller. But she has a capacity and she utilizes this capacity to portray or to create an illusion in front of husband that you are my Pati Parameshwar. And so you are my Swami, you are my controller. And if a woman does not know that art, trust me, that family life will be miserable. And I have practically seen that. Both the cases. I was not born in the forest. I was also born in the family, so I have a joint family. 35 members, I have seen all varieties. And today, after reading Bhagavatam, I can understand a lot for household and devotees, especially for devotees. Because husband has a very strong male ego. That is how the male body is. He is born with ego. He is born with ego. What can we do? That's how the male body functions. That's why he is called Purusha. Even though all of us male-bodied souls are duplicate Purusha or perverted Purusha, but we are Purusha. What can you do? If anyone has a male body, he is a Purusha. Purusha means the enjoyer. He thinks he is the enjoyer. And a woman, the wife, can confirm that thought process that yes, you are the enjoyer, then actually she is the best wife in the world. A woman can make husband feel that yes, you are the enjoyer. Husband will never even think in his dreams of divorce. Because he is satisfied. His ego is satisfied. In your company, when you go, now forget about male, female. In your company also, if you have your boss, he's sometimes sometimes you have a boss who is stupid, who is less intelligent. But then you have to make him or her feel that yes, you're right. Might is always right. A boss is right. So then you subdue your feelings for some time. And then you get benefited in return. So when husband's ego is satisfied, he will do everything for the wife to the extent of selling himself to please the wife. And that's his duty. Husband will give money, he'll give ornament, clothes, house, children, protection. That's husband's duty. He has to. And the duty of wife is to take care of his house, his children, himself. Today we have deviated so much from this. Now women are working, men are working. They both have no time for each other. Husband comes, he's tired. Wife also comes, I'm also tired. Why every day I should come from office and then take care of children, take care of cooking and bring a glass of water for you? Why can't you do? Then they start fighting. And the men will do for some time. But then his male ego will keep pumping up. And he is not satisfied because his male ego is not satisfied. And eventually results to that either he'll go for an extramarital affair or he'll go for divorce. He'll do something. That's how we see the reality today. So you see how a wife, the Narad Muni says, wife brought husband. Puranjani, she brought King Puranjan under her control by giving him pleasure. Now you apply this principle anywhere in life. You and your boss. You give service. He is happy. And then he'll give you salary. That's what you're working for. He'll give you promotions. You give service to your customer. Customer will give you profits. You give service to your, anyone in the world. Everyone likes to take service. Nobody is ready to serve. That's why servants are happiest personalities on the planet, but nobody wants to serve. And the same principle applied spiritually in Krishna consciousness. You serve devotees. You serve Krishna. You serve spiritual master. You see what you get. Just by serving Krishna, devotees can actually control Krishna. And Krishna himself says, I'm controlled by my devotees. I don't have any independent existence. Aham bhakta paradhina. Durvas Muni is going to Lord Narayan. Protect me from your Sudarshan. He said, impossible. The Sudarshan will not listen to me. Why? Because I don't listen to myself. I only listen to my devotees. And Jai Vijay, they served Lord Narayan so humbly, faithfully, so nicely they served. When Jai Vijay did a mistake of stopping 4 Kumaras, and these Kumaras, they cursed Jai Vijay. Lord Narayan personally came from inside without shoes. It's mentioned. He came without shoes. He came running. And he protected them because they have served him. If you serve Krishna, if you serve Guru, if you serve devotees, I don't have to tell. Everyone knows. You can even control Krishna. What else do you want? But today, same principle I don't want to apply when I'm serving my husband. Why? Husband should apply this principle. Why should I apply this principle? Always serving. He should also serve me. Yes, he will serve you. But he has different things to serve you. You have different things to serve. They both have to serve each other. And the duty of husband is, I told you, bring money, bring protection, give a house, give children to the wife. And a wife has to serve. That's how this translation, which is apparently contradictory, the contradiction is resolved like this. When you serve someone, you become servant, you actually become the master. It's a secret. This is a secret, but no one in the world wants to follow this. There is one position in the world which is always vacant. where there's always vacancy, is the position of servant. Nobody wants to become servant. Everyone wants to become master. And nobody can become master because the original master, Krishna, is sitting there and he is not going to go. There is no retirement age for Krishna. Nobody can remove him. So only position empty is unlimited positions is of servant. But we don't want to become servant. So we have become like Trishanku. Vishwamitra is pushing Trishanku through his Brahmanical potency to heaven. And Indra is pushing down Trishanku from the heaven. So Trishanku is hanging in between. He's not in heaven, he's not on the ground. He's hanging in between. So we don't want to become servants and we can't become masters. And that is why we are the most miserable personalities. We are the most miserable species. And that's why it's called Kunta Jagat. Vaikuntha, the living entities have accepted completely that we are servants. They've accepted, so they're happy. Here we don't want to accept that we are servants. We want to accept that we are masters, that we cannot become. The only master is Krishna. So what can be done? So this entire philosophy of servant and master applied between father and son, applied between husband and wife, applied between guru and disciple, applied between boss and this employee, subordinate, superior. Any superior subordinate relation, this has to be applied. And we have personally seen someone may not like you at all, but if you start serving, that person will love you like anything because you've started serving. So, coming to the conclusion of this point, when you serve someone, you actually become the master. My spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj said, if you become boss, people will make you das. And if you become das, people will make you boss. That's how it works. Material world. So you serve, and by that, I'm not saying that serve with the mood to become the master, but when you serve, you actually control with your emotions the other personality. And so many things. And Prabhupada says that many good points in this verse to discuss. Prabhupada is saying, this going out of Puranjan for hunting, it's like going for illicit relationship. And coming home is like a marriage life. So it's better than having, Prabhupada said, if you remain brahmachari, that is good. Otherwise, get married. Be responsible. Don't become bachelor daddies. That means don't have illicit affair with the woman, of a woman with the man. So this is one point Srila Prabhupada is saying. But then I took from translation and the entire chemistry, the psychological chemistry which is given between master and subordinate. Don't see it husband and wife. It's just master and subordinate. Now who's subordinate, who is master? Actually subordinate becomes a master and subordinate, and they both are happy. Because the master is satisfied that yes, I am the master. But then he does whatever subordinate says. So actually subordinate is the master, and that way subordinate is happy. Or I'll put in an easier way. Wife follows all the instructions of husband, makes him happy. He is sold out to his wife. He will do whatever the wife will say. So now who is saying? Wife is saying. And husband is listening. All through the life. Only when the male ego of husband goes very high, then you have to go very low. Take a very humble position. Then there will be balance. If both become angry, then there's a problem. So in modern life, what has happened in modern culture, wife is trying to become husband. And I told you, it is wife who has to take initiative. It's not husband. Husbands will never do, don't expect. That's not how they're made. If they see too much friction, because they are meant for detachment. Men is meant for detachment. So what he will do, if he sees too much friction with mother and father, he joins brahmacharya. I'm not saying that's a very good thing, because he should have positive, inspiration. But sometimes there's inspiration and there's attachment to family. Inspiration, attachment, both. And then he'll see some fiction, then he'll come. If husband and wife have fiction, husband will either look for another wife or some affair, or he'll absorb himself. If he's a devotee, he'll absorb himself in Bhagavatam. Because he knows, I cannot go for another wife, it's not good. I cannot go for affair. Then chant, increase chanting, increase reading, increase hearing. And then wife becomes insecure. So when I was working, I used to live in Hyderabad for some time. So we were tenants. All the devotees used to stay. And the landlord, he used to stay on the ground floor. He and his wife and his old mother. They didn't have any children. So then I thought, why not to preach to them? And they are elderly people. Husband is 50, 55. So I used to preach him, give some prasad to entire family, and started giving him Bhagavad Gita and chanting and all that. Then wife became very insecure. Because wife knows that I have not been able to give him child. And if he becomes a sadhu, he'll become more detached, he'll become brahmachari. Because one of our devotee, he joined the temple. He was staying there. We had a youth center, and she was very scared. So men are meant for detachment. So don't expect them to bend. They'll only bend like King Puranjana bent when he was afflicted with the lusty desire. Otherwise, in the last chapter you saw how Puranjan left for hunting without even bothering that my wife is there, I should talk to her. But that's how they are made. So they are to be controlled. In Bhagavatam, in this canto, in some places, Prabhupada writes in the purport that wife is the doorkeeper of the senses of husband. That means wife will control the senses of husband. So it's a duty of wife to control the senses. And it's duty of husband to control the wife, as mentioned in this, by giving ornaments, kids. And the way Prabhupada writes, sometimes we say that, we always say Prabhupada is pure devotee, but sometimes we may be difficult to follow what he says. So, if a husband and wife combine together in Krishna consciousness and live together peacefully, that is very nice. This is the best thing. Best. But then apart from Krishna consciousness, we have some physical, requirements for body and mind. However, if a husband becomes too much attracted by wife and forgets his duty, the implications of material life will again resume. That means husband is not supposed to be attracted by wife. And Chanakya Pandit Prabhupada quotes, Rupavati Bharya Shatru. If a man has a beautiful wife, biggest enemy. Why? Because then he will not look forward for self-realization. Then he says the husband should engage in devotional service and wife should be faithful and religious according to Vedic injunctions. Such a combination is very good. Actually, it's not that wife has to do separate bhakti. Husband does bhakti, wife supports, husband finish, wife will go. But nowadays, husbands are not proper, so wife has to do separate bhakti. Otherwise, Kardam Muni, he was just practicing Krishna consciousness, and Devahoti, her job was to provide whatever he needs. We have not seen anywhere in Bhagavatam that a wife is doing some austerity, some tapasya, some meditation. But seeing the modern situation, it will not work because husbands are also not very proper. So then both husband and wife can work. However, if the husband becomes too much attracted to the wife due to sex, the position becomes very dangerous. Women are generally very much sexually inclined. Indeed, it is said women are 9 times stronger than men. It is therefore man's duty to keep woman under his control by satisfying her, giving her ornaments, nice food and clothes, and engaging her in religious activities. The best example is Diti. When Diti wanted, Diti induced lusty desires in the mind of husband Kashyapa. And Kashyapa actually was trying to restrain, but eventually it's very difficult for the man. So then he gave in. What happened? She asked for a child, a son who will kill Indra. And Indra is very pious, very spiritual, son of Kashyapa, and he's doing welfare for the entire universe. King Indra is doing a big service for Krishna. She wants to kill. She's so demoniac. So then what husband did? He satisfied her. Okay, I satisfied your lusty desire. Then gave the benediction. Okay, I give you the benediction that you will get the son. But it is said, how to control? Engaging her in religious activities. So then Kashyap Muni engaged Diti in Vishnu Vrata, in Krishna Bhakti for 1 year. And in that, entire envy of Diti against Krishna against Indra was washed. And she gave birth to 49 children, Maruts, who are actually demigods, even though born from the mother of the demons. So Krishna consciousness is so powerful that it will take us beyond our bodily consciousness. Husband will serve wife, wife will serve husband. Parents will serve children, and children will serve parents. Everyone will serve each other. It's not that in Vaikuntha there are no husband-wife. Everyone is brahmachari. What the women will do? No, they are husband-wife. When the third canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma writes that in Vaikuntha husband-wives, they travel in the plane. The wife is so very beautiful. Husband is handsome, but husband is not attracted by the beauty of wife. They both travel all over and sing the glories of Krishna. They don't get attracted to each other, but they are husband wife. So that concept is there, but that's pure. Why? Because they are Krishna conscious. So we may talk of different solution at different level, but because this is a community of devotees, we are not talking to outsiders. It's a devotee community. We should try to increase our level of Krishna consciousness. Serve everyone, husband, wife, children, parents, society. Society has been serving spiritually, not just going and giving them some clothes or shelter or something, but giving them shelter at the lotus feet of Prabhupada. And understanding that any difficulty I am facing in my life, if I am wife and I am having difficulty from my husband, or if I am husband, I am facing difficulty from my wife, that is due to my karma. It has to come. It has to come and it will come. Nobody can go against the will of providence. The more you go against the will of providence, the more you will be frustrated. Lord Brahma to Prithu. Lord Brahma told to Prithu Maharaj in the same canto, 4th canto. When Indra frustrated Prithu by taking away the horse again and again, Lord Brahma said, the will of providence is you don't complete 100. If you fight, you will be more miserable. So then whatever miseries are coming, either from husband, from wife, from children, from parents, from in-laws, from society, from government, from anyone, that's my own karma. If I understand that, it's my own karma. And still keep serving. Tattenu kampansu samikchamano. Still you keep practicing Krishna consciousness. Jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhav. Then you are a rightful candidate for liberation. So a wife is a wife or a husband is a husband because of bodily consciousness, because of mental consciousness or mental concoction. Soul is all female, Prakriti. So this is it. We discussed a little bit about psychology and then coming to Krishna consciousness, practicing Krishna consciousness. It is not that brahmacharis and sannyasis don't have their own problems. We also have karma. It's not I am free from karma. So the experience of karma, if I would have married what I would have got, I'm having same experience now. Karma has to come, then someone else will give. If the death has to come and you just change the road, oh, I'm driving the car and in 30 minutes I'm supposed to meet accident and I'll die. Oh, I'll not drive the car. I'll just sit at home. Then the ceiling will fall on you. Nowadays they keep false ceiling. False ceiling will fall on you. You will die in 30 minutes if you're bound to die. You cannot avoid the results of the karma which you have committed, which you have acted on. This is your karma and you have to take the result. You cannot run away from the results of karma. So this conflict between husband and wife is because of lower nature. Prabhupada writes that. It's passion and ignorance. So by practicing Krishna consciousness, we can actually come to the mode of goodness and eventually pure goodness. No problem. No problem at all in the life. So this is it. If any question or comment any one of you have, please share. Hare Krishna. Mataji, can you speak little louder? Yes, better. Yes, I can hear you. Phone the. One second. Tell me, Mataji. Hello? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, tell me, please.
Yes. So then you were telling that men doing devotional service, women can be easily gone back to Godhead without doing anything. So how can we understand this concept, Prabhu? Because you are telling we should not think that you are men or women. So that means like everybody's part is, everyone should do their own services, and then through their own services they will go back, right? It doesn't mean that men doing means he's thinking that it's men. I mean, I am thinking that no, I should not think that whether I am men or women, right? So how do I understand this concept when you are talking about that?
So there are two things. There are two things here. One is so one is that yes, we eventually are souls, not men, not women. But then because of our own karma, we have been given certain body, either of a man or a woman. So then we must act. Now, if I am being given a body of man, I cannot act like a woman. I cannot, even if I want. I cannot act like a dog because I have got a human body, so I have to act like a human being. So then if you have a body of woman, you have to act like a woman. But act like the woman as it is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Now another concept you brought question is, if the husband will practice Krishna consciousness, I will go. Yes, but the husband has to be very powerful and you have to be completely surrendered to husband. So because these both are not very much possible now, that's why our acharyas, they said, okay, women also take initiation. That's why when Prabhupada gave initiation, Brahmin initiation to Matajis, there was so much halla in India. So much. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur actually started giving initiation to Matajis. So many people opposed. But then they know, these acharyas know that men will not be so powerful and women will not be so surrendered to men. So let them practice separately. You see Gandhari. Have you ever heard Gandhari practicing or Draupadi practicing? No. Even when Gandhari went with Dhritarashtra through the forest, the instructions were for Dhritarashtra, but Gandhari also left. And Dhritarashtra meditated, he practiced austerity and penance, and then he went back, and Gandhari actually followed. Because she was so much surrendered to husband that she even voluntarily agreed to become blind. That is why, at least this principle, I can say we must be completely surrendered to a spiritual master, because spiritual master is so powerful that he can take us back. But because we are not surrendered, we are suffering here in this material world. So both have to work. Prabhupada says, a potent spiritual master and a fertile disciple, they'll give result to Krishna Prem. So that is how it works. Any other question? Is that okay, Mataji?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your association, Prabhuji. Very, very excellent class. You explained the psychology of man and the woman body, and this class is a solution for so many problems in many, many families, including devotees and non-devotees. Thank you so much for your insightful class.
Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment? So shall I log out?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, see, like when nowadays in school or the whole environment, girls are becoming very aggressive, and they go out and they drive car and they do a lot of things, and they want to become independent. So it's kind of risky also. But as per Krishna consciousness, how to take this, Prabhuji?
This is Kali Yuga, and people are going forward for their own suffering. So as you said, girls are demanding independence and they are living independently. They're actually suffering and they'll make others also suffer. So men also, the boys will also have their karma fructified when they meet a girl. So both will give suffering to each other. Man will try to control the wife, and wife will never ever succumb to that control. So they'll be fighting and they'll give suffering to each other. Srila Prabhupada said in America, women want to be separate, independent, but they become pregnant and they are dependent on government. They're not independent, they're dependent on government for the money. So that is why slowly, gradually, we should at least start training our own kids. The boys for detachment and girls for chastity and attachment to the family life. Now girls are not attached to family life and boys are more attached to parents. Both are horrible. So we have to train. That's why Gurukula is required. That's why homeschooling is required. I think one of the session we discussed that you have so many devotees there and do something. Homeschooling is a fantastic concept in America. So I know it's difficult. It is difficult. Culture is getting destroyed in India also. But if you see, India is much better still than the West. But then who decided to go to West? Prabhupada said whoever has their pious karma finished and their impious karma is more, they go to America from India. Who told people from India to go to America? Just for money? You don't have faith that karma will give you money in India also? That's one part. So then whatever has to come, you have to accept. And you can do best what you can do. when the boys and girls both will chant. And I think I discussed a lot in one of the session where we spoke about how to train kids in Krishna consciousness and giving. And you all are devotees, your kids are devotees, so you are all greatly fortunate. But there will be influence of Kali, whether you are man or woman. Kali will influence. Kali didn't leave Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj subdued Kali, but the same Kali entered this boy Shringi, this Brahmin boy 7 years old, and he cursed Parikshit. That was the start of Kali and fall down of Brahminical culture. So it is only going down. What we can do, just give Krishna consciousness to one and all. Chanting, hearing, kirtans, prasad distribution. Srila Prabhupada actually said, Mahaprabhu has said that in Kali Yuga people will have no intelligence, no brains. So they will not understand philosophy. And that's why if you see philosophy, Mahaprabhu didn't speak philosophy with many. He just spoke philosophy with Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Rest all, only Harinam and Hari Prasad. Prabhupada said, Mahaprabhu said only two ways of deliverance in this world. Holy name and Krishna Prasad. There is no other. People not understand philosophy. Philosophy is, yeah, you become devotee, then now we are discussing, hearing class, trying to understand. But otherwise, holy name and prasad distribution. So without discrimination, if we can do that, if everyone can do little bit of prasadam distribution, little bit of Harinam Sankirtan, then this world will become a better place. Otherwise, you see how this year, this virus has destroyed the world. But that's our own karma. This is called universal karma. People didn't believe. When we talk about Mahabharat war, why Krishna killed so many people? This was their karma. It is not Krishna killed them. It's their karma to be killed. So how this deadly virus, everyone is sitting in their home. Except we will not bring into this category the great devotees like His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. That was Krishna's pran. A virus cannot affect a pure devotee. Maya cannot defect. So that category is completely different. They are not in our, they are not, part of all these good and bad, pious and impious. They are beyond. They have transcended three modes. But otherwise, everyone has to, and not everyone is unhappy. There are some people who are making money out of corona. There are people who are having more time for bhajan. So this is all karma. So all this, only thing which can counteract this karma of this world is holy name of Krishna and prasad. That's all.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandan Pranam. Prabhu, I just had a query over here. So, now Prabhu, the thing which you said is totally true. Now when I look back on the people whom I knew back home, is that they are from here, like when we see now, that they have been doing so many things which we do not feel right as of now, like right from the dressing sense to the way of living that they are living. But now when we go back, okay, in that same circumstance, it is as if we people will be ridiculed over there. To be very frank or telling in a layman's term, it will be as if we are going not from, like when I go back to India, it will be as if I am going from a village, I am going somewhere. I don't know if I'm able to put it up, because they have been living such a modernized life that they will be looking down on us, and I don't mind about it. But then this mentality of the people, or how do we, because we have to live in that society, or we have to live in those people. So what should be a devotee aspect over there? And also the second thing is, as you said, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that we don't need to tell them the philosophy. So what should be the preaching strategies, or what should be the way that we are dealing with these people around without judging them, so that Krishna consciousness can be imparted to them?
Good. You know, if I take my example, when I was working, and I was already initiated, but I was working then. So I will not wear tilak in office, then gradually started. Then I have to travel from one city to another city, and in my office clothes. Then I started traveling, at least because office it was not allowed, so let me travel from one city to another in flights and all that in dhoti kurta. I started. Initially I thought, what will people think? But then when I started wearing, I developed some confidence, and now I go all over places in saffron dhoti kurta, and I'm confident whatever people may say, it doesn't impact me. It doesn't have any effect on me. Rather, if you show confidence that what you are doing is perfect and you are doing as per Krishna consciousness, then maybe initially people will ridicule you, but eventually they will bow down to you. Trust me, it has happened many times. When I was about to leave my job, and I was a manager, one of the senior vice president of the organization, he came to know that I'm leaving and going to ISKCON full time. He came, he personally told me, he said, congratulations, the path you are taking at such a young age, you have that confidence, you have that courage, and I'm very happy, and I hope all the best for you. So people will ridicule because you are allowing them to ridicule. They will ridicule you once, twice, thrice. But if you keep doing same things, they'll understand that there is no point of ridiculing them. And then gradually they'll understand what you're doing, you're confident, you're doing the right thing, they'll come to you. Actually, why people ridicule, if you understand the psychology, it is not because you're wrong. Suppose you come from America, you come to a small town in India. Indians are becoming foolish day by day because they're leaving their culture, their rich spiritual heritage. And that's why they're becoming foolish. They're trying to imitate West. But what is the situation of Indian? He cannot imitate West completely because his sanskars, his upbringing is not allowing him to do that. And he does not want to be an proper spiritual Indian also. So he's hanging Trishanku. 99.99% Indians are Trishankus. They're hanging in between, not here, not there. Now, if you come from West, if you go to your hometown, whatever may be the town, and you see all Western, and especially people will come to you to meet you, they will dress in a modern way because you've come from America. So their perception is, oh, she has come from America, that means I also should wear best of the brands, I should show off the brands, I should have iPhone, why I should go with some Android phone. So they will want to show off in front of you. But if you are simple, they'll be shocked. And then because they cannot impress you, so they'll ridicule you, directly or indirectly. This is the psychology. Why a person will ridicule? Because envy. Because he is not happy. Now, if the rich people like Bill Gates, if he comes to India and he wears a dhoti kurta and a small chappal, simple chappal, and he walks, people will still glorify him. See, such a great personality he is. He's so rich and he's wearing so simple clothes. And that same simple clothes, if a poor man will wear, people ridicule him. So if we become rich in Krishna consciousness, we will be very rich in confidence, very rich in conviction. And if you are convinced and you are confident what you are doing is right, people may ridicule you for just for a small, for a moment or two, but then seeing your conviction and confidence, actually they'll follow you. Nobody can ridicule you if you don't want them to ridicule you. It's your confidence, it's your conviction in Krishna consciousness. If I walk around and I chant, like initially, when we become when we come to Krishna consciousness, we are a little shy in chanting on the beads on the road. But after some years, you become so confident, you become so convinced that you go anywhere and you chant. Now as a as a brahmachari, I go everywhere and people expect that he will be having beads, tilak. So similarly with a householder, if you are a devotee, people will accept. Some people used to shy with neck beads, but then gradually that conviction has to come. If you are convinced, then you can wear. If you are not convinced, you will not wear. And if you are not convinced of Krishna consciousness and you do, then people will ridicule and you will feel bad. So only you are feeling bad, you will feel bad when you are ridiculed, when you are not convinced of the fact that what you are doing is right. There's a lack of Krishna consciousness, there's a lack of conviction, there's a lack of confidence on our part, and not that the other person is demon. So this is the answer to your first question. Second question, how do you preach to them? See, when we are talking, don't talk philosophy. Same Mahaprabhu said, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. So don't go deep into philosophy. Basic philosophy, we have to tell them, no? How many relatives we meet, how many friends we meet, and we have some prasadam always in our bag to give them. If you are a preacher, if you have a sincere desire to preach, you must have always some dry prasadam in your bag, wherever you are traveling. Some cookies, some peda, some laddu. You give to people, whomever you meet. Speak some philosophy. There is no strategy. I'll tell you, this word strategy is not for Krishna consciousness. I don't know from where this word has come to the world. It has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. How you preach? You started chanting when some devotees approached you. You liked it, you continued it. You continue to chant, you follow for regular principles, you read Bhagavatam, you read Bhagavad Gita, you distribute books, you eat prasadam, you pay obeisances to devotees, you pay obeisances to the deities, you visit temple, do all those activities. Why? Because you like it. So what is preaching, you know? You go to people and just share what you like. If a person, he goes to a movie, he watches a movie, he comes back. If he likes the movie, he will tell everyone how I like the movie. He will share his feelings. He will share his feeling. And if he didn't like the movie, still he will share the feeling. That is preaching. So if you like Krishna consciousness, if you like chanting, you don't need any strategy. You don't need any strategy. Prabhupada always told, I mean, until unless you are in a very complex situation, you have to go for a college preaching and saffron cannot go, that's a separate thing. But just talking to friends and relatives, Srila Prabhupada, he said that all the disciples, he said, you go ahead and Paramatma will guide you. You go ahead and Krishna will guide you. He always said that, depend on Krishna. Not about, strategy and all that. So don't worry about the strategy part. Whatever.
Thank you so much for being wonderful.
So this is Zoom, this is
I'm
YouTube.
sorry for using that
No, it's okay. I'm not saying. Yes.
Yeah, just to tell you, like, we had a kids camp Prabhu last month.
Which
And
camp?
very frank, we had on Bhakti Sangha we had a kids camp.
Okay, okay.
Which was run by volunteers. And to be very frank, we like again this word strategy is not particular for it. But then we did not have any higher plans or anything. Everybody just had the motivation that we have to use this time so that kids can get into Krishna consciousness. And it just started where we did not expect a number, and it was more than 300 kids were there in the call in the camp, and it was like just as you said, that's just a desire, and it just fructified. So this thank you Prabhu for reminding me this again. Thank you so much for this wonderful explanation.
So thank you very much. Just one thing to add, if you are having the kids, like I'm not saying don't strategize the things, but when you said relatives and friends, now if you know that you are having a camp, so you have to organize. And if you are having a 3 days camp in which you have to schedule 6 classes and 6 activities, so then you have to plan 6 activities for the kids and 6 classes, and who will be the speaker. So that is different thing. Organizing has to be done. Krishna is running the show of the entire creation. It's so much organized. This world is so much organized. So organizations, this and strategies, but sometimes strategies are used this strategy is a heavy word. Sometimes devotee says, how do I speak with my neighbor? What strategy, what technique I shall use? You just use like a human, you just speak like a human being, a natural human being. Whatever you like in Krishna consciousness, you need to tell them. Otherwise, then we get so much bogged down with strategy and techniques. Be natural. Be natural. Any other question or comment?
There is a class for all of us, and especially Vishal sir also. Koti. It's very helpful. The Prabhuji is not devotee.
Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment?
Prabhuji, thank you so much for the very practical session today. So it's so much relating to all of us. So you were beautifully telling what's really happening and how to handle. And I have one question, Prabhuji. So you were telling that nowadays, like Matajis are becoming detached and the Prabhujis are becoming attached. So even in case of devotees, if this is happening, what to do, Prabhuji? What should be the change or how to handle it?
What can devotees do? Devotees can chant sincerely and everything will be all right. There's only hope. And devotees can, especially for householders, if they think that they couldn't do something, then they should give to kids. They should teach their kids. Or they didn't get, it's their duty to give to their kids. Practice Krishna consciousness. There is psychologically now we are at certain age, like 40, 50, then it's difficult. And then the entire material world is going in different directions. So to go in a different direction, first you train your kids. That's what I said. From birth, the training starts. If mother is devotee, if father is devotee, then the child, the consciousness of child is, this Garbhadhan Sanskar. Actually, if Garbhadhan Sanskar happens, if the child takes birth, when the union between husband and wife happens and the consciousness is proper, 50% work is done actually. Because you will attract the soul who is a devotee, and you don't have much to worry about, he'll be affected with Kali or no. Not much. If a husband wife at the time of union, they have consciousness, very good Krishna conscious, and Prabhupada said to chant 50 rounds each. So very good Krishna consciousness if it's there, then the child will come who will have, maybe 60% bhakti completed, 70% bhakti completed. I'm just giving an example. If 70% bhakti is complete, 30% he'll do. You don't have to worry about it. You have to just facilitate. Rather, you have to serve. So that we have to introduce. And another thing Srila Prabhupada is saying that Vanaprastha ashram, it's non-existent in the world. So we have to bring Vanaprastha ashram. And raising kids and creating a Vanaprastha ashram is the duty of householders. So then the world is all yours. We should start sincerely chanting, reading, understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and impart that in our system, then impart that in our kids, and we should preach. That is how the purity will spread, the purity will increase. Srila Prabhupada was also preaching in Kali Yuga. He was not preaching in Satyuga. Prabhupada preached to hippies. But because of the purity of Prabhupada, all these hippies, they left all the modern culture. Nowadays, it's very surprising to see in the temple, Matajis are coming. Even devotee Matajis and non-devotee, both. Their heads are not covered. You see the time of Prabhupada, and still so many Prabhupada disciples, Matajis, head covered. There were men who were in Prabhupada time working also, dhoti kurta, shaven head. Now even they come to temple, so the culture is going down. But Prabhupada with his purity could do. So whatever we have purity, we will be able to do. So let us increase the purity also before we, not before, along with the preaching. That's what Srila Prabhupada says, purity is the force. So we preach also and we increase our purity also. By chanting, reading, hearing, honoring, prasadam, serving devotees. And then we preach. So both will go hand in hand. And gradually the world will change. It's not easy. The Kali Yuga has shifted too much on the modernized side. So it's not easy. And especially I know some people who have returned from, I know one boy who stayed in America for 2 years for some studies. After he has come from there, he has become completely crazy. All Shunyavad. And I'm talking to one devotee, he's in France, a Chinese fellow, very nice devotee, but living in France from last 2 years, gone completely crazy. Started talking about tantric and all that in France. Why Krishna only? Why not others? You're a good devotee, you're about to get initiated. What happened? So this is the preaching of Kali. So only way is to expand our preaching. And while expanding our preaching, if we don't have that strength and the weapons, we will be killed by enemy. So the strength and weapon is holy name, the books. So we become strengthened, and then we keep fighting with Maya. Then we see the result.